Good day, folks, and welcome back to the channel. And as you can see, I finally have been able to get out on the new Fatboy for the first time, and ooh, baby, does it feel good to be on a Fatboy again. But before we get too far, we need to look at a viewer bike as always. This was sent in by JC. This is his 2002 Fatboy, and it looks like it's had a lot of work. This bike was hand painted, including the lettering on the tank, big chrome light on the front, as well as chrome rims and lower forks. We've got a heavy breather air cleaner set up, along with some nice chrome shotgun exhaust. Looks like we've got custom lighting front and back, custom grips and passenger pegs, lay down license plate, and a sleek custom seat and swing arm bag. This bike has lots of chrome bits here and there, for example the timing and derby cover and shift linkage. We've even got a leather pouch mounted on the tank right under the ignition. Very clean looking bike, so thanks Jay for sending that in. And if anyone out there would like to see their bike in a video, send me a picture and we'll get it up on the channel. My email address is in the description below. So it's April 2nd as I film this video, and it's been a little over 5.5 months since I put the bikes away last year. I probably could have been out a little earlier had we not had the large amount of snow we saw in March. And if you look around, you may still be able to see some of it left around. It really makes the roads a hell of a mess once it starts melting, so sometimes the street options at the start of the year are a little few and far between. And of course, this is not the first time I've been on a Fatboy. Those of you who have watched the channel know that I've had several over the years, including 2021, so I am definitely not a stranger to this model. I will admit that if you aren't used to the post-2018 Fatboy models, it may take a short time to get used to those bigger tires. You're going from a 140 to a 160 in the front, and from a 200 to a 240 in the back. I will say one thing though, this bike handles much better than you would expect a bike with tires like this to. On the plus side, these 2018 and later models, you've got a bike that's got more power, better suspension, and about 30 pounds less weight. You've also got a Fatboy with a slightly better lean angle, but let's face it, you won't be leaning this bike too far over before you're scraping the footboards. But this bike is made for cruising, not for tight turns or carving those windy roads. But when I do my detailed review, I'll be getting into this bike much deeper. So now the question comes up as to what I am planning on doing to this bike. And to be honest with you folks, I'm not totally sure just yet. So far, I haven't done a whole lot. I've put in some LEDs in the signal lights front and back, put on chrome electrical covers, an oil cooler guard, but most importantly, I changed out the stock exhaust for some Tab Performance slip-ons with zombie baffles, and that sounds way better than that stock exhaust for sure. I can say that I definitely plan on installing a detachable windshield, and I'm leaning towards the 19-inch wind splitter from Harley again. I didn't mind the look, and it did a pretty good job blocking the wind. Also at about 6 feet tall, I didn't experience much buffeting. And now I've heard some YouTubers out there say that you should never put a windshield on a Fatboy because it will ruin the look. I myself do not feel that way. I do not feel that a windshield ruins the Fatboy's look any more than it ruins the look of a Road King. In my opinion, a windshield is a necessary evil. Not just for the wind, but around here, once you get into the dog days of summer, the flying bugs really come out. And I'm not talking small little flies. I'm talking big grasshoppers, bumblebees, dragonflies, and I'd prefer not to be wearing them after a ride if possible. And you'd also be very surprised how much of a mess a butterfly can make. Now, speaking of necessary evils on a bike, another can sometimes be a swing arm bag. Now, I had a Kuryakin hood rat swing arm bag on my Lowrider S that I plan on putting on this bike. It is definitely not a pretty bag. It's actually kind of ugly, but I have to say it has been the most useful swing arm bag I've ever had. It's got lots of pockets and the top folds out to give it more storage space than a regular leather bag, and it may not look the best, but it is extremely functional. So one other thing I have planned is a Stage 1, and I usually have this on every one of my bikes. I don't really do it for performance, as it really doesn't give it really much of a bump at all. Although I do get a little snappier throttle response, and the bike does get up to speed a wee bit quicker. I generally do the Stage 1 just to get the engine breathing a little better, and I won't be getting too crazy a setup for this either, as I've only got slip-ons on the bike rather than a complete full exhaust system. And I'll just be using the K&N filter that I kept from my 2021, and I'll be putting it in the stock ventilator setup. I'll also be using the Screamin' Eagle Pro Street tuner, and that is not my first choice. But the bike is under warranty, so I'll be using that just so I have no warranty issues going forward. You can definitely get a better tune with some of the aftermarket brands. However, the environmental folks in the States are now cracking down on those manufacturers too. Some of them are now being forced to go with tunes that are environmental standards compliant. I have put quite a bit of thought into a new seat as well. But I really like the look of the stock seat still, especially the profile. Unfortunately, it's a very firm seat, and it is not something that is comfortable on a longer ride. After being on the highway for probably about 30 minutes or more, you really start to feel it. If I did change the seat though, I would be looking for something low profile, kind of like the bike currently has on it. I've seen a lot of people rocking the Saddlemen step-up seats, but the shape of those is it's just not for me. As comfortable as they may be, it's just that step-up just doesn't fit the profile of the bike for me. I will admit I would sacrifice some comfort for style though, but Saddlemen have low-profile seats, as does Lepera, which I would also strongly consider. But I'm just not sure which way I want to go yet. And I've also put some thought into a cam. A cam is probably your best bang for your buck in terms of improving performance. But to be honest, I really don't need it. I almost would be doing it just for the sound, because I always like that chunky, chewing steel sound a good cammed up motor has. So at the moment, I don't think I'll be doing all the same things as I did on my 2021, at least not at this point. I had thought about going with another engine guard, but again, I'm not sure I need it. If I did, I would want more of a kind of a crash/highway bar that could double as highway pegs. I'm also not sure if I will go with ape hangers again. Perhaps a gentleman may do something different, like pullback risers perhaps. If I did go that way, I don't think I'd be going very high or any higher than 4 inches. But at the moment, I don't really have any plans to do anything with them. However, of course, time will tell. Anyway, those are my first thoughts on things for the old Fatboy so far. Of course, I'll be keeping everybody up to date on things as they progress. And hopefully, I won't have any of the issues I had last year with that Lowrider S. Also, once it gets a little nicer out and the snow is completely gone, I plan on doing a pretty comprehensive review of the 2024 Fatboy. So if you're a fan of this bike or the Fatboy model just in general, stay tuned. Anyway, that is it for today. And if you are somewhere nice enough to ride, I say get out there and do her. And we'll see you in the next one.